Southern Africa's finest gather for the 23rd edition of the Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup in Gqeberha, where the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium opens its doors to the tournament, starting with Eswatini up against Botswana in Group A action, as both look to hit the ground running with a good start. On that note, a very good day it is to you. A special day it is for Southern African football today, as we have a repeat of last year's opening match. Keep in mind, when these sides met on the opening day of last year, it was Lebogang Ditsile's goal that gave Botswana the 1-0 win over Eswatini. So for Botswana, they'll be hoping for much more of the same here. And they start with a tough group with the likes of Mozambique and South Africa in it. Eswatini looking for a bit of revenge here, whilst they themselves look for a positive start to this year's tournament. Keep in mind that this, of course, one of two venues. The other that will be used during the course of this tournament is the Isaac Wolfson Stadium. Round 2 will be played, of course, by all the groups in that venue, whilst, well, Eswatini or Botswana rather will be here to Eswatini will be here to play South Africa on the last day. Speaking of Eswatini, their players making their way out of the bus a little bit earlier. Now keep in mind, these young men that are knocking on the door in as far as getting into the international game for the nation of Eswatini, so many of them will be looking to use this tournament as a stepping stone to get into the national team that's currently, of course, in the middle of a World Cup qualifying campaign. In fact, all the nations are just about involved in World Cup qualifying campaigns here. But for the Eswatini lads, they'll be hoping to impress their coach with an eye, of course, on a place in those World Cup qualifiers come September. This, the side from Botswana, they themselves will be looking to come good in this tournament, as we heard from their, or will be hearing from their coach rather, a little bit earlier. Inexperienced players that are trying to get into the senior national team setup. They themselves will also be looking for a repeat of last year's start to the tournament, hoping to once again come up with the win for Botswana. So this is an important day for many of the players that will be in action today. They'll be hoping, for many of them, it starts a long-lasting relationship with the senior national team. We're warming up earlier at one of the venues. Of course, they'll be able to tell the story to their kids and grandkids down the line at one of the venues for the 2010 FIFA World Cup. This a venue where, of course, Ronaldo played here in a match where Portugal were up against Cote d'Ivoire. I think on the second day, if memory serves me right, of the 2010 FIFA World Cup. That's a story they can go down to tell their kids, and saying, well, for some of them, this is when my international career started. One of the iconic venues, of course, in South African football, and as far as those that hosted Africa's only World Cup matches. So for the nation of Botswana, they themselves have an eye not only on the COSAFA Cup, but on the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers as well. There'll be many youngsters they'll be hoping to use this tournament in Botswana as well to kickstart their international careers here. They themselves will know it won't be easy with the, well, tournament that's lying ahead here, especially this particular group, with a tough fixture against Eswatini, South Africa and Mozambique coming up next. It makes life rather interesting in seeing how things get started in this Group A. Now, the best in Southern Africa now, getting ready to, well, go to war. Little mini wars that will be taking place here in Gqeberha, and the first we're seeing, of course, Eswatini coming up against Botswana. Both these sides just about ready to make their way out of the tunnel. The refereeing team to lead them out here, men that will be looking, of course, to have a good tournament themselves. The referees here, and well, and as far as the opening game here is an important one, keeping in mind there is one later on in the day. If you are just joining us, South Africa, the hosts will be taking on Mozambique. For now, all of the focus very much on Eswatini and Botswana. Well, the referee in this encounter from Madagascar, in fact a couple of them are from Madagascar. The man in charge of this fixture will be under Fetra Rakoto Jarona from Madagascar. He'll lead out James Emile from Seychelles, and his countryman in Dimbi Niaina, Andreati Anarivelo. And those the men from Madagascar, of course, in the referee and his two assistants. The fourth official in this encounter is Tabani Rosario from Zimbabwe. Well, FIFA has called this one of the best, if not the best, regional tournament in the world, with how often it is held and how successful it has been over the years. And keep in mind as well, Southern African teams have done so well thanks to the COSAFA Cup that's helped them come up against each other on a good number of occasions over the years. Yeah, we saw the results in the recently held Africa Cup of Nations, and also some Southern African nations shaking things up in as far as the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen,
time now
please stand
for the national anthem of Eswatini and Botswana.
And now, the national anthem of Botswana.
Go
we are still concluding the formalities as this match gets closer and closer to kickoff here. Not much of a crowd to speak of here in these early stages. There is, well, there are a few supporters out to that far side in the sun, enjoying what's left of the sun, of course, before the shade completely covers this venue. But later on, of course, for the kickoff for South Africa, we will be expecting more numbers to come through as we have a look at the Eswatini starting 11. Kalani Kama, the man between the sticks here, crucial for Kameta and Shongwe in the heart of defense to have a good showing. Man, that will be important in midfield is Bongwa Matsebula in trying to keep it all together alongside Lamini out in the attack. They will have two men in Twala as well as Kadela. Didier De Rosa speaking highly of his team and being interviewed by Max Mpanyani before this game got underway. He speaks highly of his players and his team here, hoping they, well, show him a thing or two here in trying to ensure they push up a level. And, well, it will be many levels, of course, in pushing up and trying to get into those World Cup qualifiers come September. Two captains now stepping forward here to meet the refereeing team. It is worth keeping in mind we will have VAR once we push on to the knockout stages of this tournament. So that's an important development. We, of course, had VAR last year out in Gauteng in a COSAFA tournament. We'll be having likewise in this year's tournament. So all involved will be looking to have a good showing. The referees, the players, including those that will be sitting in VAR later on in the tournament. For Botswana, Victor James is the man between the sticks. They have three in midfield here that look to dominate. Eswatini, Ramotsi, as well as Sekwai out in the attack. Of course, the sharp end of the attack will be Kalifang. He will be supported by the creativity and ability of Ugume as well as Tibedi. As Botswana hope for the best possible start here, led by their coach, of course, Sfiso Ndibane, or I beg your pardon, Didier De Rosa. Here is Sfiso Ndibane, the coach of Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland. He wouldn't engage when asked about their ambitions in this tournament, just saying, look, he believes in these players and that they're here to put up a show. It's all about building for the future, and I do suspect for many coaches and players, it's about building for the future, and not the distant future, the very near future, with the busy international schedule that will be coming up in the months to come. It is Eswatini in the dark blue and yellow to attack the goal to the right of your picture. You can't mistake the Botswana colors if you've watched them play before. The white with the sky blue, they'll be attacking the goal to the left of your picture.
Go!
Well, we can hear everything when the stadium is the same team, including the countdown for the referee. I do have the pleasure of sitting alongside Max Mpanyani, a man who's been there, done it before, former international for South Africa, highest goal scorer out at Kaizer Chiefs. Max, an important game this in the way of a couple of nations looking for a good start to what should be a very tough group. But it's Botswana with the early ball into the box then, and Eswatini needing to deal with the danger. Having numbers back in defensive areas, they will have the foul early on. So an action-packed start to this.
Action-packed start indeed, and it just shows that Botswana just wants to just have that good early sort of moment of relaxing. But having said that, it's just one of those tournaments that stars have been made out of it. And I remember in the past the likes of Besuma who went on to star for Kaizer Chiefs. He was seen in action in the competition of this nature.
Well, Botswana now looking for the perfect start here. We still are just over a minute in, and they got a set piece in a good area. The angle and distance suggests maybe a shot at goal would be asking a bit too much. So men piled in towards that far post. They'll be attacking the penalty spot with various runs from there. All starts with a good ball played in, however. Referee spotted some argy-bargy on the edge of that box, so calming that situation down before we can get play underway. In swinger, it will be in fact going for goal. Oh, good save. That was a big surprise then. I was expecting the ball out to the far post, and on for Olanikama positioned himself well, shuffled across to his right superbly then to come up with an impressive first save.
Well executed, but Gama just came up tops. And that's a save that shows bravery from a keeper. So now we know who's the man that can and could save the Eswatini team.
Ball played in again is Gama. That gets the important touch. Good start this for Botswana in keeping the pressure up. Into a ball in then is comfortable for the 24-year-old that is between the sticks. That will be a confidence-boosting save made by Gama early on. Then it was a extremely well-taken set piece then. Looking to creep into the top corner on his right.
Mavoso must be given credit. He hit the target. It was just top corner. That's where top stars puts it.
Well, Botswana will be encouraged by the start they've made here. Looking to build from the back. To have 4 at the back, both these sides then. It's looking a 4-4-2 formation from Eswatini, whilst it's 4-3-3 for Botswana. Likes of Lesego and Kopelang in the heart of that defense. All looking towards Lesego here on the near side. In fact, it's overcooked, out for the throw-in. Eswatini with their first chance to forage into the opposition final third. Flick on from Twala. Plays his club football from Bavani Swallows. Comfortable here for James. For Eswatini, their first engagement in the COSAFA Cup was back in 1997 when they finished in the first round. They, in fact, finished in the first round for the first couple of years, 97 and 98. Then in 99 went as far as the semi-finals. And some good years in the early days of the COSAFA Cup. Semi-finals, quarter-finals on 2 occasions. And then semi-finals and on another 2 occasions, and a quarter-final finish by 2004. Then from 2005 to 2016, it was just first-round finishes up until 2017, where they made the quarter-finals on 2 occasions. Third place in 2021, which was their best finish. Last year they finished in the first round, the year before that in the quarter-finals. So Eswatini would like to find the form they had back in 2021 when they got up to third place, doing some defending now.
Wouldn't be surprised when Botswana just becomes dominant, because they've got players that are playing in a competitive league. I mean, if you look at the teams that are in that league, your Orapa, your Gaborone United of this world, Joanne and Galaxy, the Chiefs will tell you more about it. Maybe even Pirates can tell you about it.
Yep.
So they've got players that have a lot of confidence.
Certainly do. Got a bit of space here on this near side to try and exploit. Could have been a shoulder then, free kick against Botswana with Atumelang Lesego. Called for the foul then, leading with the elbow. Looking back at this moment, well, in fact it wasn't. They seem to come together quite fairly then, both of them contesting for the ball decision. Will be a hard one to take from a Botswana point of view, but well, here they are. They seem to have settled the quicker over these two sides. Botswana, thanks to that good start they had, and they're looking to build on it here in riding the early momentum. Good work to keep it alive here on this near side by Ramote, and who had that set piece earlier that was saved by Gama. Latoro.
Says right, it might be too early, but I would like you to put keep your eyes on Mavuso. He's comfortable on the ball, number 8 for Botswana.
Yep. Now that looked an interesting ball. It had to be played defensively. Then the striker, then Talifang, had made an interesting little run. Looked as though he may have broken the offside trap. In the end, the touch defensively was a good one. Gama, it is picking up the pieces. Safety first in the defense. Certainly a good start for Botswana here inside the opening 7 minutes. If you are just joining us, spent the most of the time in the opposition half of the field. They are spreading it about quite nicely. Found the rhythm right from the get-go here. Rato, good movement on that far side. Defense wise to the movements. Nicely done then in keeping an eye on the man as Botswana get the throw in. Take it nice and quickly as well then. The early ball, 3 inside the box. That's good goalkeeping from Akama. So we've seen a good save where he had a good foot movement to make the save. Distribution not bad as well then, after having dealt with the cross coming in, and in the end problems here for Botswana. James has come up with an impressive save as his own then. Well apart defensively, and the closing down and pressure applied right from the front then from Makatela. Very nearly providing an opener for Eswatini. 2 good chances it is here inside the opening 10.
Over against Nono, trying to use a shoulder against an opponent, only to find that he was not there anymore and almost get caught because he exposed his keeper there.
Fortunately for him, the keeper had come up to close the angle and made himself big. Otherwise, there could have been problems then. Here's that move once again.
That little touch made a big difference from the keeper because that was a mess up of a defense.
Eswatini doing well to keep the ball here with Masangani. Early ball forward again. Looking for the run, trying to break that defensive line from Ayanda Andela, and plays his football for Babadi Swallows. Interesting when you look at the 2 frontline players, Mafa, for Eswatini. Both of them are teammates at Babadi Swallows, that being Twala and Gadela, so there will be a bit of an understanding between them. That could prove problematic. That's nicely done by Ratoko though, in keeping it moving, however.
Speaking of which, this is a sort of a trend. If I have in fact, looking through all the teams in the Euro, you realize that most players are from the same team. You look at your Portugal, you look at your Spain, and it's easier for any national team coach because the combination is so spontaneous.
That's what I'm here with Mapuso. Well, so far, the 2 players one could argue keep an eye on here. You mentioned one being Mavuso wearing the number 8 for Eswatini. The other is wearing the number 8 himself for Botswana, and being Ramodze. Good defending. Sensible defending then. Responsible in securing the goal kick. Now, there's that ball over the top. There's that little touch between defender and striker then that may have thrown off the defender Kopelang, but great work here by the striker in Gadela in keeping the pressure on.
And credit to the goalkeeper, he did very well there, James. Came closer and just narrowed the ankle for the opponent.
As James plays his top football for Masitaoka FC. A few players in the starting 11 that will be teammates for him. Like so, Orapa United also have a good few players in the starting lineup. I do believe Orapa are the most represented club in the starting 11 for Botswana. All of the players, that being Botswana, playing their club football within the borders of Botswana, barring one, that is Lizo Squia, who plays his club football out in the US for Clemenson Tigers Football Club. The movement to get into the byline, and they'll settle for the corner. Eswatini. Magatwala, 22 years of age, then showing good pace and getting to that ball. Now he'll be amongst those that will take up positions inside the box here, hoping to open the scoring, be the first to score at this year's Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup. 6 in the box. In swinging cross towards the near post. Superbly dealt with the initial header defensively then from Botswana. Now here they are looking to kickstart the counter attack. Nice run being made from the middle of the park. You can see the intention of the pass. It's just in a rush. He couldn't find the precision he was looking for from the middle of the park.
Those are the ones that you play on the ground, but you play them hard because the ground will just keep the ball for you, and then you can just run onto it. But when it's floating, I can body dive to it, head dive to it, and then it's always not the one that kills or spreads the defense.
Set piece here. Good area this with Twala standing over it. 5 inside the box here. Inswinger took a slight deflection off the wall out for the corner at the end of it all here. Well, entertaining enough start here inside the opening 12. If you are just joining us, both sides have had very good chances at goal. Both goalkeepers have had to make saves, telling ones. Nice tempo to this game. Another corner it will be. Again, the referee spotted some pushing and shoving off the ball then. Katela amongst those getting a talking to. Corner lacked in quality, getting defended on that near post. Now that looks a foul and is, so pressure will be on that defense from Botswana. Another foul in a good area. Will be interesting to see what Twala does with it this time around. Last time he looked as though he was going for goal as it was deflected out for the corner or for the wall.
I'll be surprised if Twala plays it again because that was poor, so it's got to be somebody else. But he's got an arm bent, he might have a say.
Sure he's got a say. Piliso could give the outswinger weighing the number 15 on his back. Still 6 inside that box. Twala was something a little different this time around. Shots! Oh, good save from James. That was a decent shot, more than decent shot. Hit the sweet spot. James had to be agile on that goal line. He did well to see it through that traffic and fisted clear, getting distance on it.
The two keepers have made 2 brilliant saves. The scoreline could be reading differently. Quality keepers so far.
Quality. Initial save, impressed with the footwork and palming it out for the corner. This time around, James positioned well initially, then gets 2 strong fists onto it, out wide. Into an area that doesn't expose his teammates, throw himself to danger. Twala with a nice little touch. Nicely done in winning it back then in the middle of the park here for Botswana. Very nice tempo about this game. You can see the shade now completely covering the entire field, so it will be cool out on that field. In fact, it will be slightly cold out on that field with a bit of a wind, not much to speak of from a PE point of view for once. Well, Kabecha point of view, I should say.
Yeah, it has respected us because it can be windy, and that is why it's known as the windy city. But today it's just cool, and when you're in the sun, you can be deceived.
Yep. Attempted a 1-2 with the movement to that far side. Nothing wrong. In fact, goal kick is the call then. I was going to say nothing wrong at the flag stayed down. It wasn't the case.
And how's that for luck? The ball hits the corner flag and now out of play, but it was in play for a second.
Yep. Eswatini now looking to keep the pressure on. Movement is good by Katela. Looking for one of the 2 men inside that box. Trying to having good numbers back in defense on that occasion. Asangani. Twilight was looking for the run being made from the outside, out on the far side. Put a little too much on it. Didn't get the angle right either. So you can see the 2 frontline players here from Eswatini coming right up to the edge of the box. They are trying to thwart the intentions of Botswana to build from the back. In fact, the intentions have been rewarded with James forced to go route 1. Well, for Botswana, their history with the tournament, like Eswatini, goes back to 1997. First round for the first 2 years. then they finished in the second round. They'd have to wait until 2003 for a knockout spot or for a quarterfinal berth. 2004 they were in the quarterfinals as well. Semi-finals in 2006 and 7. Those are good years for the Botswana national team. Quarterfinalists in 2008, quarterfinalists again in 2009. Now James looking to fist it clear then into the top of the box. It fell to a teammate as Eswatini. I look for a bit of joy with Mavoso here on this near side. Ramot. The movement here on the near side. The pass not angled well enough to find the teammate. Here's Mavoso. Manana. The Green Mamba man looking to play down the line towards Twala. Paul had gone out of play for the throw-in. They were semi-finalists in 2015, runners-up in 2016, Botswana. Again, they had some good years. They were quarterfinalists in 2017, played runners-up in 2018, runners-up again in 2019. They have made a couple of finals in the COSAFA Cup. They'll be hoping this is the year when they can go the distance, be the last team standing, so to speak. Finished in the first round last year. The year before that, they were quarterfinalists. So they've been thereabouts. And they'll hope this young team will have what it takes to go the distance.
We've got a sumptuous lineup here in the COSAFA Cup. Some great teams coming to our shores. I mean, you look at Zambia, Comoros, and or Comoros, if you like to call it that way, Zimbabwe, and Kenya. So we've got some good lineups.
Yep,
Angola, Namibia, Lesotho, Seychelles.
Oh, there's some fixtures to look forward to as well.
And Bafana, our own Bafana is in this group of what we're watching now: Mozambique, Eswatini, Comoro, and Botswana and South Africa.
Excellent skill here by Mavoso on this near side. Well washed, however. Piliso, 20 years of age, is the Babani Swallows right back, wearing the number 15 jersey here on this near side. There are some nice fixtures to look forward to, of course, later on in the day. South Africa, Mozambique, something to look forward to. This in itself is a fixture that's started off extremely well here inside the opening 20. If you are just joining us, good football being played by both these nations. Chong. Now, chance for a shot from range. It looked as though it took a slight deflection. Yes, it did, out for the corner, but he certainly had to be mindful of that shot from Gadlela. Has to be sure, Victor James also took a bit of a dive then towards his right, although it was going wide.
That was a good striker's instinct where you just chase the ball and turn the body, and on the turn, you whack it. So that's when you have good intentions.
Pulled in here now. Here's a chance! Great chance! And while he was looking to steer it to the inside of the far post in the end, Masangani went, well, just over. Lovely chance, free header, nobody picking up the men on the blind side. And yet another good chance goes the way of Eswatini.
Masangani could have just put it in the back of the net there or force a save from the keeper, but the technique let him down. Just headed it with the top of the head and right across. Across was a good idea, but on target should be.
Well, we're hoping for a good start to the tournament here. Mafa, inside the opening 20 minutes, we saw the set piece from Botswana. Great set piece, super save. We've seen one more save, in fact 2 more saves coming out of Victor James on the other side of the field, but good football here from both these sides as the ball go out for a goal kick. They're both putting it on the ground and seem comfortable with it. The pitch allowing for a flowing game of football as well.
That's the beauty of it, because when you watch youngsters in action, they obviously have great ambitions. So they're not even buoyed by the fact that there are crowds here. Whether the crowds are here or not, they're not bothered at all. And in a sense, they just give their all because they're not used to them anyway. But the biggest prize, since we don't take it for granted, the scouts are watching, and some of them will end up playing here in South Africa and elsewhere. Speaking of that, you spoke of Shongwe on the pitch now for Eswatini. We have Abel Shongwe, William Shongwe, who played here.
Now, lovely cross here to the blind side and finding Basangani, who should have done better with this header.
Yeah, the technique let him down.
Well, once you speak of former players from Eswatini that have done well, don't forget the elect of Tony Tabete as well, who played until late in his career out in Eswatini.
Kameza too. Charles Johani, we had a few. Yeah.
But Fisher Kondo as well, another.
Then even in Botswana. So these youngsters are motivated that they could end up playing here somewhere.
Yep, they've certainly got a good few examples of players that did well in tournaments such as this, were picked up by the bigger sides in South Africa, if you will. Remember one Joel Muhorosi out at Bloemfontein. Celtic, most caps for Botswana, I think over 90 if I'm not mistaken.
Dixie, and then now they still have the Tlokwe with who's with Kaizer Chiefs. So they believe. This is the tournament of beliefs.
As far as top scorers, the name Jerome Ramatakwani comes to mind. Space to turn here for Lesego as he looks to play it down the line. Space in the middle of the park here, Ramote, the man to pick up, supported by Tibedi. Sinono. Well, the attempt to try and spread it and find this Oko here on the near side is overcooked. The Orapa United man unable to keep it alive, so thrown it is to Eswatini.
Good idea, but the pass wasn't on, especially because he had an opponent next to him. So even if he had received the ball, he was always going to be under pressure.
Yep.
So be patient, build up from one side, and make sure that after overloading one side, then you get this to be occupied and use it as a blind flank. But it was so obvious that it was now going in the opposite direction.
Did mention that these sides did meet in the tournament opener in Durban last year with Botswana walking away winners. They also met in October in a friendly that was won by Botswana. Home game for Botswana, beating Eswatini with a 2-1 scoreline. So Eswatini will most definitely be looking for a bit of revenge then. Defensive mistake, allowing Botswana to pick it up inside the final third. Nicely done in finding a pocket of space to keep the pressure on. Keeping moving quite nicely. Oh, Botswana, oh, that's a lovely ball. The run just offside then in trying to get to the byline, but that pass came a second earlier. Botswana then would have been able to get in behind that defense. So let's have a look at it again then. Is it offside? I think not.
It is definitely offside because the assistant referee was just in line and you could see that the blue shirt was just a bit deep. The run was made a bit early.
Nice flick on, good anticipation by Twala. There could be a chance in here for Eswatini. Numbers back for Botswana. Ball across and well dealt with to deal with the danger from Twala. Well, the shot from range didn't hit with a lot of power then, just not on target from Manile Swadamini. 21 years of age, big and strong. Operating in the middle of the park in the heart of midfield for Eswatini. Very good start to this game for Wage Twala.
I like the fact that he can even use the right foot. You know, sometimes when you're left-footed, when the cross is not on, you're stuck. And if he hadn't hit the opponent there, he would have found a blue shirt.
Both these nations, of course, coming into these games following what was a busy June. At the start of the month, of course, the World Cup qualifiers were very much a talking point, especially something to look forward to at the end of the last season as far as club football is concerned.
Very busy indeed, Sizwe. I can recall on the day when we had Bafana against Zimbabwe, we also had Lesotho against Rwanda, and what a game that was. And everything to play for all the countries.
A few of the South African or Southern African countries playing the qualifiers in South Africa due to the standard of their pitches maybe not meeting FIFA requirements. Now, Twala, the little touch closely watched on this near side by Lesotho. Actually done in keeping it moving by Ogome. Heavy first touch. Losing out then to Matebula. Done well to hold on to it here and try and protect it. In the end, he was fouled and used his body well then to keep it between the man and the ball. Foul committed by Butsile Sakana. Well, there are a few supporters that are arriving out on the far side, mind you. Still, all of them looking for what's left of the sun in as far as the stands. So they're trickling in slowly. James was looking to find Lesotho, who has remained an outlet out wide on this left side. He just couldn't find the precision he was looking for. Piliso it is now. Forced backwards in order to go forward, Eswatini. Now, good movement here, and well, looking to sneak in behind the defense was Zakadela. The flag going up a little late then, finding him in an offside position, but they need to be wary of him chasing down absolutely everything.
That's when he's just always believing that he's going to get the ball, and you've got to always say, as a sweeper, you can't be chasing the action, you've got to be confronting it. And that's where the problem is. And I've seen Obakeng Senono has always been caught on the wrong side of the game.
Well, after that good start from Botswana inside the opening 5 minutes, I think it's safe to say, Kama, we've seen less and less of over the last 15 or so minutes, and more of a victor change on the other side of the field.
Interesting is that the game is a bit balanced, and I can't wait to see the stats, because Eswatini is now back into the game and they're more comfortable exchanging passes, as is the case now.
Dlamini looking for Twala. He is heavily involved as the man wearing the captain's armband for Eswatini. There he is, winning it back in the middle of the park. Biting challenge coming in then. The referee allowing play to continue. 30 minutes of play gone by. 0-0 the scoreline between Eswatini and Botswana. Well, keeper with a heavy touch. Could be in trouble here. Well, they would have been hoping for a penalty out in Botswana. The striker stayed down here, but well, Olani Kama with a first touch put him under tremendous amount of pressure, and lucky that the referee had a good view on that situation and was able to make the call. Early ball played in, good run, header! Just wide, that's a lovely chance. That's good ball to find that run that came in from deep then. Why with the movements, plays for Police out in Botswana.
That was another header, could have also been on target. But what was Gama doing there? Trying some skills.
That's the question.
No, not a penalty, because you'll realize that Tlalefang was trying to milk the situation.
I still turn to find a bit of space from Ratoko. Again, pressure applied here and sensible defending. Good understanding between goalkeeper and defender. Foul by Poliso. I think he had his arms all over his opponents right up until the ball just got to them, then able to get the advantage. Well, with the brand of football both these sides have been playing, one would think we should be due a goal before the end of this first half. Ramote. This time surely we'll be looking for a teammate. Twala, good touch. Looking to kickstart the counter-attack. He's got runners here to the left and right, opting to go left. With some further options at the edge of that box. It's beautifully done by Eswatini. Twala! Victor James read that situation superbly. Came out and made himself huge to deny Eswatini another good goal-scoring opportunity. The ball dealt with defensively with the header.
Yeah, that was hurting. He made a brilliant save, James, but it hit him right on the diaphragm here, and that's why he's on the ground. He's in pain, but he closed the angle very, very tight for Twala to finish.
How's that counter-attack from Eswatini? However, how Twala held it up, the runners spread out all across him, and the flowing football from then on, including that nifty little flick towards Twala in the end, Marks.
Those touches, I can see they're popular with both teams. You know, youngsters like those touches when they see them somewhere where they watch football, and it just almost paid dividends. And I was tempted to think that that Twala could have chipped it, but there is no ways that he could have chipped it because everything happened so fast and the keeper closed the angle so tight.
Good goalkeeping, good reading of the game on 2 occasions now by the man who's down injured. Yep, plays his club football for Masitaoka, but he's twice now made saves where reading of the game has been important, and he's needed time coming off his line, and he's done that superbly and made himself big. Few supporters now taking up positions. The sun fading fast out to that far side, so they'll enjoy what they can of it. And well, you can see the way they're dressed here. They are expecting it to get cold as the day does go on. Hope he's got a jacket for about an hour's time, Max.
Well, he just wants to show us the team he supports because he's here to recruit because they need every good player. Good to see youngsters watching football, and schools are closed, they can just spend a lot of time here. We need to invite more of them.
Yep, keep in mind, if you are watching it on nearby, it is free, of course, to come in on a first-come, first-serve basis. Ticket office here at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. It's the way to go about picking up your tickets.
And you don't even get to watch one game. You watch 2, you watch 3.
Games, yeah.
On a good day, you watch 3. Interesting what is going through the Rosa's mind, the coach of Botswana, because he's got his substitutes warming up already.
Good goalkeeping from Victor James then. Very impressed with him in this first half, but yeah, you are right, Mark. Substitutes but warming up. Now, something to chase here. Something could be on here for Eswatini. Good movement. Oh, good save again from James. Another shot. Oh, it's come off the woodwork. Eswatini ripping that Botswana defense to shreds on a few occasions now. And unlucky, eventually, not to find the back of the net once they had eventually found the beating of Victor James.
You're just impressed by James, and I can also say the coach must be depressed by his defense because that defense is always exposing James. Another save, and when you work hard, luck will come your way. Did you see how the post, the upright, helped him? And that's James for you, closing the angles. He's just from recovering from injury and back in action again.
Listen on. Well, Eswatini here will go to the change room a frustrated bunch if they don't find the back of the net by half-time with the chances they've created and the quality of chance they've created. Foul here in the middle of the park. Ratoko will go into the referee's book. First yellow card of this year's Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup with that challenge. Now, let's have a look at this build-up here from Eswatini. Again, it's Katlela chasing down everything, but that pass, though.
Just passed it with the outside of the boot and just on the path of his teammate. And that's when, again, the upright just denied Eswatini a goal.
Once again, Katlela again with the follow-up shot to this man here. Has well been the standout player so far for Botswana. Back to James. Well, in England some years ago, there was a goalkeeper that maybe the older generation would remember, and that was known as Calamity James. Victor is anything but.
I thought of that, James. I remember in the World Cup there was a goal scored from the corner, straight into the back of the net, and the English fans were just livid. They just wanted him back. Calamity James. I remember him well.
Piliso. Now, James off his line then. That could have ended differently had there been more power on that header from Twala. He was able to adjust and realign himself with the flight of the ball then. Had there been power on that, I don't think he would have been able to make those adjustments.
Or it's a question when the keeper leaves his line and the defender's looking down and trying to play to the keeper. I want to find that he's not there, he was there.
Yeah.
And it's in the back of the net.
Much busier of the two keepers now as we approach the last 5 minutes of this first half. It's being Victor James. Well, spoke of scouts being out there, and well, the DSTV Premiership will certainly have a good number of scouts keeping tabs on these games. Eswatini pushing forward again with the early ball. James is the one man who's making a name for himself nice and early here in this tournament. You'll think of the number of goalkeepers at the last AFCON that played their football in the DSTV Premiership. The Namibian goalkeeper, of course, and he's heroics. Keeping in mind, he's the reserve keeper for Chippa United here in Gqeberha.
And the same Chippa United keeper made his heroics at AFCON.
Yep. And
also our own Ronwen Williams.
Yeah. The Nigerian keeper was also Chippa United. So a good few. And Ghana as well. With the Ofori. So many keepers will know that clubs in the DSTV Premiership have an eye out for them. Now, Eswatini. Ball back to the top of the box. That's good work on the defensive end then from Botswana. Certainly under pressure here in this first half. Masangani driving forward is Masangani. Too much done on the ball then. Chance for a counter-attack here for Botswana. Attempted the 1-2, superbly read and dealt with. They'll be lucky to get the corner, Botswana here.
Yeah, that's the problem with Botswana. When they come with a counter-attack, they end up outnumbered all the time. It means the midfielders are just not quick enough to join the fray as the team attacks. And that is why, because they've got a lot of sort of defending to do, they end up forgetting numbers to attack. Yeah. Because then it means a lot of workload from both sets of players.
Here's a worrying sight for Botswana as the match referee from Madagascar makes his way across the field here. I say worrying sight because their best player on the day is struggling somewhat. Is the knee that's the problem? Or the thigh? Could be the inner thigh that's also a problem then, but let me hoping at the very least he can make it to the halftime break here, Mafa. and get some attention during the break.
Still young, he'll make it. He's still young.
Yep, the inner thigh seems to be a problem. Top of the thigh, groin area.
The groin area. Unfortunately, as a keeper can get away with it. He doesn't have to run around. So just as I thought when I was saying, just give him some tablets.
Yeah.
I don't want to mention the word tablets, but those tablets, the popular ones, and he'll be fine.
Well, even ladies looking forward to the games here. Remember the COSAFA Women's Championships were held here a few years ago, a couple of editions back, drawing some good numbers. More and more youngsters making their way out into the stands now. James, okay, game will continue soon here. Botswana having the corner. What a story it could be if they could find the back of the net, having been under the cosh for much of this first half.
I love that nickname of Eswatini. It's a slango somnikati.
Yeah, the owner's shoe. Ne? Translated, it means the owner's shoe.
Against the Zebras. You know, when I heard Botswana Zebras, I expected them to be in black and white throughout.
Yeah. Now, pull into the box. Oof, had to play that defensively with two strikers looking to get onto the end of it at the expense of a corner, but may have done some damage to himself then dealing with that. Spelelo Piliso, one of the Mbabani Swallows players out of that field.
He wasn't touched at all. He was alone. He landed badly. Awkward landing.
Let's look at it again here. Yeah. Lower back may be an issue. Or is it a head problem?
But he didn't land on his head. Or is he suggesting that Botswana is starting to become a headache?
With all these corners and set pieces, there may be. This best moment for Botswana in this match, early on, the opening minute. I had that set piece with Ramotse then forcing the save out of Kama. Little did we know the goalkeepers were to stand out in the first 45 minutes. Following that, Ramotse with yet another dead ball situation. Kama, well, he followed that a long way beyond that far post. Gets the touch, into touch.
That's confidence for you. I've been looking at the height of both keepers. They're quite lanky keepers that can always be very useful because their height comes in handy in situations like this.
Also, for big men, they're able to move around quite well. Good balance, good agile movements. Now, 2 minutes added on to the end of the first half. Both these sides with a chance now to find a moment of inspiration and take the lead into the halftime break. Masangani's chance or turn there to need a bit of help getting back up onto his feet. He plays his club football for Royal Leopards. Does Simango Masangani, the only Royal Leopards player in the starting 11.
Or it's the trailing hand that caught him on his face. I was wondering what could have happened to him.
Nicely done here by Lesotho. Out right on the near side, under pressure the entire time here. And they're doing a good job of closing down the midfielder, Eswatini here, not allowing the men from Botswana to have it their own way with their build-ups. Committing the foul in the end is Ricky Ratoho, another of the men from Orapa United. 4 players in the starting 11 in as far as Botswana are concerned, from Orapa United. Now, Botswana eating away at the last few seconds of this first half. There you have it. Well, very watchable first half of football here, where Botswana started brightly, but it's Eswatini that had the bulk of the chances and the better moments, much better moments. Well, see it all end in the first 45 minutes with the scoreline tied here between these two sides. For Eswatini, they've created a handful of chances here. Victor James, the man that's kept Botswana in it here, he's made 3 or 4 stunning saves to, well, keep Botswana in this match, and the scoreline tied at 0-0. Eswatini will feel they should have at least registered 1 at the end of it all. It's Eswatini 0, Botswana 0 at half-time. Had all the numbers in their favour here. They had the better goal attempts. They still had 5 shots on target. That's 1 that's come off the post as well, including 4 saves from Victor James here. They'll definitely be feeling they should be in the lead here. Botswana, with that 1 shot on target early on from a dead ball situation, will feel there's plenty of room for improvement here. But Eswatini, so far in the driving seat, and as far as out-and-out play is concerned, still though, scoreline 0-0 between Eswatini and Botswana. Welcome back to the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium as the fans continue to trickle in here. Numbers extending, not by a large amount, but well, extending nonetheless here. And well, there is a second game here, and we expect them to brave the cold, come out here and enjoy the football that is on show in the first half of the opening game between Eswatini and Botswana. We saw a good half of football, some very good football played by Eswatini. They unlucky not to have taken the lead into the half-time break. Good saves from Victor James then, and one that came off the post from Eswatini. And well, in as far as an opening 45 minutes is concerned, a very good start in the quality we've seen so far in this match. Out to the stands, young and old have come out to enjoy what should be the opening day of a entertaining tournament at the very least. It should give us some memories going forward. Interesting that the young man in the middle there is just wearing a t-shirt. Well, it's understandable from their point of view. They're still out in the sun, so it's a huge difference between being out in the sun and being in the shade in how you'll feel about the weather here in Gqeberha. Teams now will be making their way out of the tunnel. A few fans arriving during the half-time break here. All of them, for the most part, coming out to that far stand. Refereeing team with a very good first half here. The men from Madagascar, Seychelles, and Zimbabwe. Match referee under Fetra Rakotojaona from out in Madagascar, assisted by James Emile from Seychelles and Dimbiliana Andriatri Anarivelo, another from Madagascar, with the fourth official being from Zim, Tabani Rosario. So, Botswana in the white and sky blue will look to improve upon that first half. In fact, I had a few of their substitutes warming up towards the end of that first half, suggesting that there could be a change at the start of this second half, especially with the dominance Eswatini had. The good news for Botswana, of course, will be the fact that they didn't concede in a half where the goalkeeper, Victor James, was outstanding. Some really impressive saves here. We're talking 4 very good saves made by Victor James, including one shot that came off the post. So Eswatini will look to pick up from where they left off here, hoping that the second half will see them dominate in the same fashion they did in the first. Whilst for Botswana, they'll be hoping for a complete turnaround in momentum here. 11 on the field are the same 11 that started the game by the look of it from a Botswana point of view, so there will be no changes from both these sides to the start of the second half. In fact, I may have spoken a little too soon here. It is Botswana that will look to make the first change of this match. So, as we suspected, changes will be coming in. Eric Ogome will be the man making way here, coming on in his place. Kisabele Bale Tsepo coming on in his place. Another player coming in is Square from Botswana, wearing the number 11 jersey. Now, Botswana looking for the positive early start here to the second half. The shot coming in from the new man on the field. And being Square easy for Kama to pick up. Max Papanyani sitting alongside me in a commentary here. We've seen the 2 changes made as Eswatini win the set piece here. No surprise then that it is Botswana to make those 2 early changes, with the way the first half was in favor of Eswatini in out-and-out play.
Yeah, they started the first half as dominant as they could, but only for a spell. And that spell was about, 5-7 minutes? From there, Eswatini was all over them. And I'm not surprised, as you say, that the coach had to throw in striking players. And in this case, you just look at Tsepo, that is Kesebele, and he's the man that is going to help up front, because that's where they've been lacking. You remember on 2 or 3 occasions where they were always shortchanged up front when they attack.
Well, the shots not causing any problems for Victor James here from Twala. So it's Eswatini to have the first shot in anger here in the second half. Gift Gameta. It is with the foul here. I do believe he was leading with the elbow on that occasion. So Botswana with the set piece.
And he was leaning on a man that I think he'll make changes, Keselebale, because he's now up front and helping Khalifa.
Good numbers pushed forward to the edge of the box here. It needs to be a very good ball to unlock that defense, which remains solid for the time being. Bit of a tough start affair at the start of the second.
Yeah, that type of free kick is the one that is very awkward. If you're lucky, you'll flick it over the keeper if he has left his line. But it's one of those that are awkward in a sense that they are direct with the keeper. I always prefer the ones that come in from the sides. But you don't choose where you will be found, do you?
If it did, it would be a completely different ball game, Max.
It could be.
Well, starting off this second half, it is worth noting that outside of that one chance they had early in that second or in the first 45 minutes, Botswana really haven't created moments where they've troubled Olani Kama. Early with the ball forward this time again. Eswatini able to deal, now looking to keep the ball on the ground and move it about. Then Eswatini. Matabule here on this near side looking for the return ball. Here he is on it now. Combining with Manana. Dlamini.
The danger is about these mini tournaments is that when you don't take your chances early, then you overstress yourselves, and before they know, these two teams will be playing Bafana, they'll be playing Mozambique, and then they will be needing points badly. So if you get your chance in the first half, you've got to bury it, and then at least if you win 1-0, and then you manage the game, and after managing the game, you look forward to the second and the third, and you through to the next round.
No. Fouls here, passed into the ever ready Kadela. His movements and just combination with Twala out in the front cause all sorts of problems for the likes of Sinono and company in the heart of that defense. Botswana, of course, in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers had a win in their very last one against Somalia, where they beat them with a 3-1 scoreline. Before that, had travelled away to Uganda, where they had lost 1-0. Interesting when you look at the friendlies they had leading up to those World Cup qualifiers. Did play Burundi to a 0-0 scoreline, played against Rwanda to another 0-0 scoreline, and Mozambique to a 1-1 scoreline. So both Botswana and Mozambique in the same, well, group here would have played each other in a friendly in the 8th of January. Keeping in mind, Botswana also played against Eswatini in a friendly late in October, ahead of the World Cup qualifiers in November. Now, touch from Dlamini. Good work by Botswana to deal with the danger. Clearance, though, only as far as Manana. Out wide on this near side is Twala. Early with the ball in, way too close to Victor James. I say he's a good goalkeeper, not just for the saves he's made, but also for how well he handles the crosses coming in and his timing on when to move off his line. He reads the game very well. Seems to have all the right qualities in dotting his I's and crossing his T's at an early age, Victor James.
Yeah, one can say one word for all that is positional play.
Yeah.
This sense of positioning is brilliant.
On this near side is Botswana looking for joy now as they try and push forward. They lose in midfield, which has been a constant problem for them. Seen them go long on a few occasions here since the start of this second half. Botswana, of course, in Group G of the World Cup qualifiers with the likes of Algeria, Mozambique, another Southern African nation. Mozambique, whom they'll be up against in this group as well, including Guinea, Uganda, and Somalia. Currently third in that group are Botswana, having won 2 and lost 2 on 6 points, 3 behind Mozambique and Algeria.
Talking of Mozambique coming up, we'll see a familiar face there, their captain, Dove.
Yep.
He's been in every competition. He's here. He was in the World Cup qualifier. He was also at AFCON. Plays for Kaizer Chiefs.
Yep, it'll be one face the locals will be able to recognize right away. One of the stars of the Mozambican setup. Botswana, of course, still looking to have their first shot in anger here in the second half.
Sorry, just on that point of Mozambique, doesn't he remind you of Pelembe? He's been there for ages with Mozambique.
Dominguez, as he is otherwise known.
41, am I mistaken?
Yeah, I think he's in his 40s
40s.
now. Yeah.
Just like Pepe at 42.
Heard an interesting point about Dominguez as, well, Dlamini leaves the field. Yeah, we'll be hoping he'll be back on in the next few moments. But had a conversation with Victor Tlongwani a couple of weeks ago, and he's telling me that Dominguez is one of the players that was spotted by a referee who then came back and told the club sides here in South Africa, including the likes of Pirates and Supersport, that, hey, there's a hot player in Mozambique. And that's how word got around that there's a Dominguez or a Pelembe out there for players to, or for clubs to chase after. Similar story with Kama Billiat, apparently first spotted by a referee as well, and word got down to South Africa. Now, Twala from range, lining it up, took a slight deflection on its way through. Again, positional play key in Victor James, getting his body behind that.
He does the basics so right. So, Caesar, from the tale you told, I'm gathering that the referees are just not blowing the whistle, they're watching.
Watching.
They are scouts, in a way.
In a way. Now, pace on this near side here from Botswana as they drive into the box, the ball in, then for post! Oh! Lovely chance. Great chance. Unmarked all the time in the world then for Kalifang. And the man from Gaborone United, well, got it wrong. Working hard to get into position with the initial touch. Oh, he worked so hard to get there, Marks.
Kalifang again, his decision making. He could have dived for that ball. You had it. It's easier than when you lift your foot and try to use the inside. That was not the right option. Dive for that ball. And every time when you dive, the keeper doesn't know where the ball is because your body goes that way, the ball goes the opposite direction.
Well, best chance of this half goes the way of Botswana. So they'll be hoping with those changes made that that'll be the first of many chances created. Another early ball in needed to be dealt with on that occasion by Manana. Twala. Manana again going down the line, then looking to keep things moving here with Matsibula. Plays his tough football for Young Buffaloes, is the 26-year-old here on this near side. 10 minutes into the second half, and wow, Botswana with their best move of the match in open play.
And that should have been buried. That was just one of the slickest moves Botswana has gone through.
Well, not the best of clearances. Twala called for the foul then for the challenge. Gets a yellow card. Does Twala for his trouble? Have a look at it again here. Is that worthy of a yellow? So for Eswatini, they of course in Group D of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers, and my oh my, they're not in a tough group. Another Southern African side in that group is Angola, of course, but the likes of Cameroon, Libya, Mauritius, Cape Verde in there. Mauritius, another from Southern Africa. There's Dlamini. Dlamini with a chance to look for one of the three in there. Twala battling with Victor James then. Called for the foul. Now he's already on a yellow card here. The referee maybe looking to have a word with him still. Just picked up the yellow. Some may have felt it was a bit of a soft yellow, but is it two men contesting fairly for the ball then, in your opinion, Marks?
That was a fair contest. His eyes were on the ball. He faced it that he could get it, and the keeper also thought he would get it. And anything can happen. It's a contact sport. I'm glad that he's not malicious.
Yeah.
He's been in the thick of things.
Certainly has been, Twala.
No, James in this case.
Oh, James. Yeah. Both of them have been in the thick of things, Twala and James.
That sponge knows that area of James.
Yep, he went down in the first half then, and he's down for the second time in the match here. And, well, for the third time in the match, mind you. And for Didier Da Rosa, the coach of Botswana, well, we'll be hoping his best player on the day here will be able to continue. Remember, he was down in the minutes leading up to half-time, so we thought, well, get him to half-time and work on him. So surely they would have looked at that in half-time, and well, just over 10 minutes, or close to 15 minutes into the game, he's struggling again, following the contact with Twala.
I hope he doesn't get painkillers again. Not again. Very interesting that the coach, in fact, hyped up the goalkeeper when I asked him about his key players.
Yes, he did.
And he was so right.
Yes, he did.
How you build your team around the keeper.
Yeah.
It shows that every member on the pitch is important. Remember, most coaches would even think of a striker.
Yeah.
I'm expecting goals from so-and-so, but his keeper was the first to be mentioned.
At first, his answer was all the players are special. Then he started to name the players and started with the goalkeeper, of course, that being Victor James. Now, free kick against Eswatini here. Mentioned the bottom of their group in Group D. Yet to win a match. Oh, there are 4 matches in those World Cup qualifiers. As we look back at the foul then, they have lost all 4 of their matches in the World Cup qualifiers. So they are looking for 1 or 2 players that can be boosted up to their squad to boost their fortunes come September. Cameroon currently top of their group with Libya, Cape Verde, Angola and Mauritius taking up the other spots. Now, Botswana early with the ball, and well, it's a goal kick in the end to Eswatini. Better from Botswana. They'll feel in the 15 minutes of this second half that they have thwarted the threat that was coming from Eswatini in that first half. Not so much of a threat coming from Eswatini since the second half got underway. In fact, it's Botswana that have had the best chance in this game.
And that was just purely because of the coach's brilliance, where he just said, I need to put more attacking players, take more, the game more to them. And they're more settled and comfortable now, the Botswana side.
So Eswatini need to make their first change of the match. And it's Andy Makakula Jr. Mavuso will make way. Well, Mavuso amongst the players that looked impressive in the early exchanges in this game, gone quiet here in the second half, prompting the change. Now, Botswana trying to get in behind the defense here on this near side. Nicely done on the defensive end. Distance on the clearance as well. Coming into this tournament, Eswatini did play against Mauritius in a qualifier. I mentioned their qualifier is not going too well with them losing all 4 of their matches. They lost 2-1 to Mauritius. Lost 1-0 to Angola before that. Now, middle of the park here, Atebula picking it up. Manana, movement from Twala. Washed by Kopelang, plays for security systems. Back home in Botswana, there's Deboho Kopelang. Now, first few touches for Makakula since coming on. Looking for width out on that far side. Well, can get into the pine line. The cross sees the keeper and defender going for the same ball then. Good headed clear, however. Well, he does work hard in attack. Does Akate has done a good job of trying to hold it up. Just couldn't find the teammate, although they will get the throw in here. Eswatini taken quickly. Twala trying to force the ball through then towards the box. Challenge from behind is the reason that set piece was given away.
I've seen 2 chest traps just been given away for one simple reason. There, that's when you chest it, but you lean back to the keeper first. I mean, to the opponent first, to create room for yourself. Don't go directly to the ball because it's going to push you to the ball. The worst moment is when you try to chest trap and the defender pushes you and it hits your face because it's closest to your chest.
Matebula. Manana. Makakula. Twala. Nicely down to find Dlamini. Now, we spoke a little earlier of some names that may ring a bell. We mentioned the likes of Tony Tabeta earlier from an Eswatini point of view, players that would have been heroes. Another good strike here and a good save from Victor James. Yeah, best we've seen from Eswatini in this second half. James again positioned well to make the save, making it look easy, Marks.
That's James for you. He's just really been having his eyes on the ball, concentration all the time. And this is what this game is all about. Doesn't it remind you of driving? Concentrate all the time. Keep your eyes off the road, keep your eyes off the ball. Anything can happen.
Well, a name many may remember from an Eswatini point of view, especially where the COSAFA is concerned, is their top goal scorer in the COSAFA Cup, Badenhorst. Nice turn here by Makakula, looking for the 1-2, then the block, and they're looking for the penalty. He was in a good position. Was the referee from Madagascar to make that call?
And the ball was tucked onto the body, so it wasn't even an argument.
Tell you what, Makakula has made a bit of a difference since coming on, the men wearing the number 10 jersey, involved in that play then, leading up to the shot. He's gotten on the ball on a good few occasions. Change to be made here, and it's Botswana to make it. the change for them in this game. Sequai of Police will be making way. Tabiso Bande of Tafik FC comes on. Now pressure out to that far side as Botswana look to exploit the space available on that left side. Early ball going into the box then. And, well, foul against Botswana, which will be slightly disappointing as they were hoping to, of course, build on that. A nation that's been a FIFA member since 1976. Botswana. Good movement to this near side. Now Manana on the overlap. Will be happy with the throw-in. Top goal scorer for Botswana in the COSAFA Cup is Mahanti with 6 goals. Good confident call for keeper. Meets it at its highest point as well.
No danger at all. Just floated in there and he literally waited for it.
Biggest win for Botswana, a 6-0 win over Mauritius here at the COSAFA Cup. I mentioned Mahantai as the top goal scorer with 6. Behind him, 2 players with 5 goals scored at the COSAFA Cups in the past. Kamanyani and Siakanyeng. Ramatakwani with 4 goals in the COSAFA Cup. Now, Manana. This is being learned here from an international point of view, Mafa, in that Eswatini created a handful of chances, very good chances, all of them clear-cut goal-scoring chances in the first half, but in the international game, a lot of the time it's rare that a side that dominates in one half continues in the same vein in the second. Adjustments are made and tactically coaches are able to plug the hole, so to speak, coming out for the second. That's exactly what Botswana have done here. Made the necessary adjustments, and it's a much more even game here in the second, where Eswatini dominated in the first. Now, good work to get to the byline, and lovely work defensively then by Gift Kamete in conceding the corner.
Just that point that you were making, Sizwe, it's very interesting that it's just across the board because it's called a game of spells. If you don't capitalize and use your spell, that spell is going to obviously go to the opposition, the pendulum, and when that pendulum just swings the other way, then you have a problem.
Well, 70 minutes in, no, still. Botswana looking to swing the pendulum all the way the other way by being the first to score from this corner. Well, they kept the head on the near and very nearly on the far. Now, looking for the counter. Eswatini, chase on here. As James wastes no time here, takes no chances in finding distance in the clearance. Lesotho. Rakoko. Have done a much better job of spreading the passes and holding on to the ball here in the second half. Botswana, in fact, they've had a decent spell until the unforced error now out on that far side. For them, the heaviest defeat at this COSAFA Cup was back in 1997, where they lost to Malawi, scoreline being 4-1. They and Lesotho were in a 6-goal thriller back in 2013. That's being one of two of their highest scoring matches. Beat Mauritius 6-0 in 2018 in another. Longest winning run in the COSAFA Cup is 3 games. Early ball. Now, chance at the counter then. Ball looking to get over towards the back of the Eswatini defense, and well, Darosa's men will have to settle for the throw-in.
Darosa seemed to be knowing his game.
Yep, the man from France, coached currently, of course, with the Botswana national team, is Darosa from Charenton Le Pont, out in France originally. Now, free kick. Time running out here for both these sides to try and force their way and force the issue in picking up the 3 points in this match. Eswatini making yet another change. It will be in the striking department, where Sizoletu Shabalala will be coming on. Kandlela is the man that makes way. Had a lively first half, gone quiet somewhat here in the second marks.
Gone quiet. In fact, Botswana just gave them even muscles. So that is why the game is so even, and Botswana, even to an extent, are dominating in attack. But an interesting name for a team that needs someone to help them to come on as a sub.
Plays for Mabani Swallows, there's Shabalala. Now, that's Dlamini. It's Twala. Busy as ever is Twala. Needed a much better ball to find one of the 3 men that were lurking in and around the box. Then Dlamini keeping it alive here for Eswatini. Pressure applied, forcing the error here on this near side. Sabelebali, man who'd applied the pressure here from a Botswana point of view. One of the men coming in off the bench here in this second half.
Interesting, Sizwa just went down to that pitch, and I realized that it is, as much as the grass is thick, it's also slicky. And now imagine when it's later, when it's getting dewer and slickier, so a lot of players will be slippering all over the show. So it's going to be a different game, because coaches should now say, take your shots at goals, take one of those dipping ones, don't keep them mid-air.
Now, Makakula with a good ball out wide here. 3 getting into the box in need of a good ball is decent, and well, the willing and able Victor James able to snatch it out the air after the initial defensive effort. Slappy with the ball in the middle of the park, where Botswana for just a moment. Much better protected is Victor James here in this second half. Makakola turning into trouble. Has to turn here on this near side as Botswana try and work it into the opposition half of the field. It's not as tidy a game as it was in the first half, but they'd keep it on the ground and move it quite impressively. A lot of aerial balls here in the second. Now, Dlamini. Twala coming deep to get involved. Now, space to the far side. Botswana again need more numbers getting over the halfway line. Nicely done and keeping moving. Isabelle Bale with the wayward ball, then easy to intercept. That's a definite challenge from behind then on Makakola.
Keselebale was very indecisive there. He wanted to take a shot from range and he wanted to pass, and the ball ended up in the middle of nowhere.
Nice overlapping run. Ball in isn't bad at all, and the header wasn't clean. You suspect it was a bit of head, bit of shoulder of Shabalala. But a lovely overlapping run then from Kolisi Manana here on this near side. The Green Mamba man with a good ball in, well attacked. The connection just wasn't true with the header.
Yeah, the header was just played awkward for him. That's why he had to get underneath the ball. It's not one of those that you attack and use your forehead and put it where you want.
Well, man, down inside the box here is a Gift Kamete. Plays for Madlenyana. Or Madlenya, I beg your pardon. Two big men going up for this.
You said it, too many aerial balls.
Yeah.
And you cannot avoid any head injuries when it's aerial balls all the time. Maybe even an elbow, unintended elbow or hand swinging. Keep the ball on the ground. Let it flow. Let it just open up the game.
Certainly was a game that flowed in the first half.
Can't wait to see Hellman's boys how they play, because he was a winger who would whip them in and running from halfway line, and before you know the ball is still in play, and he was just so quick. So he might say, come, let's use our wingers.
Of course, for those that are wondering, we are speaking of Herman Kelele, the South African coach, keeping in mind South Africa up against Mozambique later on in the day. Well, biggest win for Eswatini ever in this tournament against the Seychelles in what was a 4-0 win. Heaviest defeat to the most successful nation, Zimbabwe, a 5-0 drubbing back in 2004. They've kept 18 clean matches so far in the history of Eswatini football and the involvement in the COSAFA Cup. Failed to score on 20 occasions. So, with just under 12 minutes remaining in this match, one has to wonder whether this will be one of those where they fail to score as we look back at the foul here. Now, Banana. Good work by Masangani, reading that and bringing it back, protecting that back four. Here's Makakola. Doesn't get it right with that pass. Trying to exploit the pocket of space available out on that far side, asking way too much in the end of Spepelo Piliso.
Coach Ntebani is getting more frustrated of players not doing what he wants them to do. You can see how sort of animated he is now, coming off his dugout.
Again, they'll be thinking back to that first half, wishing they had taken the chances that had come their way. Seychelles and Botswana, or rather Eswatini, I beg your pardon, in Botswana, have played each other on 6 occasions. Botswana have won 2, or rather they've drawn 2 against Eswatini. Botswana have won the most here, they've won 4. So Eswatini has never beaten Botswana in the COSAFA Cup. Keep in mind, Marks, they would have had their chance to do so here with that first half performance, but they weren't able to find the back of the net, and my how things have turned around here in momentum in the second half. Much more even game, but nowhere near the quality we saw in the first half from Eswatini.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised when Botswana got back into the game, because they were just thinking our dominance is moving away. Who moved the cheese? So they just felt, no, we have to now regain our strength and show them that, guys, we have never lost to you. As we see now, this is not how you beat Botswana or anybody.
Makakwela it is with the shot from a long way out. Sliced it, was going high and wide of the mark. Now, could be a chance here for Botswana. The ball falls for them in the end. It's good work done defensively. Under a tad bit of pressure as well. So, yep, he is a much more animated figure, isn't he? Where's that pressure? We saw on Masangani this time getting it clear with a bit of help from Manana.
He was very fortunate that he could still find his footing and clear better than the first clearance.
Shabalala. Lamini. Finding Makakwela, that's a good ball now. Men over towards the far post. He's, I believe, had a shot at goal then. And in the end, it's gone over Victor James' goal. No worries then for Botswana with Piliso having the opportunity and a couple of men on the far side asking for the ball to be played across.
He should have played it lower and harder, as hard as he played it, but not trying to score, because that was not an angle for him to score.
So keep in mind, next up, South Africa, Mozambique, and then in 3 days' time, we're going to have Mozambique up against Eswatini first at the Isaac Wolfson Stadium. Then South Africa later on in the day will take on Botswana. If it stays 0-0, both Mozambique and South Africa will be happy with that scoreline, with no one registering a win. That's if it stays 0-0.
And that's if they win.
Yeah.
You don't just be happy that your opponents or potential opponents didn't score. You've got to win your game. And then, as the coach said in Tebani, said, one game at a time.
Twala under pressure, back to goal. Corner.
Have you noticed a few things that have changed in the game? Desperation, everything has just been done so quick.
Yep.
Get something out of this. Get something out of this kind of an attitude.
Botswana will make yet another change, and Kisilibale, who had come in as a sub, is being subbed. And Bagile will come on in his place. Your thoughts on this change, Marv?
I think the coach is feeling that Keselebali is just not doing anything that he asked him to do when he comes on. And he knows that he's got a player that might be capable. So remember, this game is not over until the last minute. I've been watching so many games lately, including the Euro, where every goal was scored, or most goals were scored on the last minute of added time. So throw all your aces on the pitch and see what will come out of it.
Talk about the mental and maybe emotional effects of being a player that's coming off the bench to then be subbed before the game is done and dusted, Marks.
Yeah, it did.
That ever happened to you, buddy?
It happened to me once in my lifetime. It happened to me at Kaizer Chiefs, and the coach felt, and as I came off, disappointed as I was, he says, "Masan, you didn't do what I expected you to do. I expected you to come on and do this, this and that, and you didn't." And I understood. And I thought this could be the last time, and it was the last time. You know, when you're young, rush of blood, always offside, and just killing the momentum of the game.
Yeah.
And I thought with experience, these things will never happen, and it never happened. It's not easy, though, for the player, especially the fans who don't understand that it's through tactical reasons.
So, under 5 minutes remaining. Ball played into that far post. And, well, yet another set piece it will be. Much different first half, yeah, game of two halves really, where it was a flowing, entertaining game in the first with chances created, mostly by one side, but on the other side of the field, it's a stop-start affair here. It's not the tiniest of football at times here from both these sides. Makakula. Now, can Eswatini find something special late in the day here? Makakula again. Well, that's offside then. Mention that, well, Eswatini have Mozambique waiting for them next, and Botswana, South Africa in the second round of fixtures in this group on the last day in the group. At the same time, it will be on the 2nd of July, 3 o'clock kickoff. Mozambique will play Botswana at the Isaac Wolfson Stadium, while South Africa take on Eswatini here at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. Tomorrow we switch on to Group B action. Group B with the likes of Zambia, Kenya, Comoros and Zimbabwe. With Zimbabwe taking on Comoros and Zambia taking on Kenya. First game at 3 o'clock, the next at 6 in the evening. So, a couple of minutes remaining here. And, well, if one of these two sides do go on to find the back of the net, it will surely be a winner. As Manana works it infield here. Remains the option out wide, yeah, with the right foot this time, looking for one of the three players in there. A couple of attempts at it, but Victor James, well, he owns that area. On that side of the field is James. Now, Botswana looking for something special late in the day here. Sinono. Bundled over out to the far side. In fact, it is Ricky Latojo, the Orapa United man. It's fouled. Waketwala working hard on the defensive end of the game as well, then giving away the foul. So Botswana with a chance to find quality. Well, it's a decent ball in, then the header on the edge of the box is easy for Kama to snatch out the air. Quick with the release then, as he looks towards Makakola. So, Matabul. Matabula to eliminate one now. Well, it was the obvious pass towards the penalty spot, wasn't it? So it was easily read by Botswana. 3 minutes added on to the 90 here. For Eswatini looking for their first COSAFA Cup win over Botswana. It looks as though that wait will have to continue a little bit longer. Now, space on the far side for Botswana to try and exploit the early ball. Overcooked. It's been the story of the second half, really, where both these sides have lacked in quality when it comes to the final ball. Already played a minute of the 3 to be added on to the end of this game in this Group A encounter. Ratlogo. Trying again, dropping very deep here to help put it back for Eswatini to try and force the issue out to that far side. Pass is dealt with defensively at the expense of a throw-in. So, how much of a hurry Eswatini in here to try and get that ball rolling? A little slow in getting numbers forward. They've only got, what, 3-4 in there for the time being. A fifth now arriving on the scene inside that box. No doubt a long throw from Twala. Now, Eswatini looking to keep the pressure on here with Makakula. Zamini. The Babani Swallows man keeping things moving in the middle of the park is Damini. Now, again, a chance to get the cross in again. Botswana having just about enough numbers back to deal with any possible danger. Just over 30 seconds remaining on the clock now. Well, that looks an interesting ball out to the far side. Chase on. Well, Eswatini looks to keep the pressure on here. Again, there's two looking inside the box, looking for a yard for the shots. Unable to find it. Makakula then just couldn't take it in his stride as he was breaking between the lines then. And with that last attack, it will bring to an end the first game of the 2024 Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup here between Eswatini and Botswana. This time last year it was Botswana that were walking away one of the winners in the opening game of last year's tournament. There's no separating them this time around as they play to a third draw in the COSAFA Cup here. Eswatini with their first half and the number of quality chances they created will, however, feel they could have and maybe should have won this game in the first 45. For Botswana, they'll be happy with the adjustments made in the second half. Much better game in their point of view from a defensive point of view. They did a much better job of protecting Victor James and the best chance going the way of Botswana, and Kalani Gama himself having to make a good few games here, a good few saves I should say, in this Group A encounter. At the end of it all then, it ends the first game of the Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup of 2024. Eswatini no, Botswana no. Looking at the stats, well, still, Eswatini with those chances created in the first half, there were that many, that good, and they still created a good few. Here in the second, they still had the bulk of the ball, and when they look at those numbers and the minimal shots on target from a Botswana point of view, including the ball possession stats, they'll think it should have been they that walked away with their first COSAFA Cup win over Botswana. For Botswana, good adjustments in the second half, much better half from them and their point of view. But the numbers certainly telling a story. Eswatini maybe should have walked away with the 3 points here. Well, for Botswana and Eswatini, they look forward now to games against South Africa and Mozambique. Keep in mind those two in action later on in the day here. For those two sides, this is the best possible outcome depending on who wins the next match coming up for a 6 o'clock kickoff here in the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. Good entertainment though, and what's a good start to the tournament. Goals will come surely in the next game.
Yeah, man of the match now is Victor James. Victor, what a great job. But before you talk to us, receive your award. And that is from Mandla. And that is very impressive of you. Thank you. Victor, talking about the game, there are moments where you just pulled brilliant saves. In fact, in my thoughts, I thought this man is the one that deserves this.
Yeah.
Your response?
Okay,
I thought you deserve this. Share with us the game.
Yeah. We managed to play well, even though we didn't manage to have goals. We failed to convert. So I think 1 point it's something.
Yeah,
So
there were moments where you were injured and I thought you might not be back. But did you believe that you'll still be in it?
yeah, it's part of football. We have to fight for the team, even when you're injured. So sometimes you just have to take everything for the team. So yeah.
And talking about those many saves as a goalkeeper, what do you think of the people in front of you to say, I need to be guarded here, I need to be saved? You can't only be making saves.
No, that's my job. I think I did those saves because I was working hard. So yeah.
Yeah, you work hard indeed, and congratulations.
So
Job well done.
Thanks.
Thank you. Coach Tarosa, you spoke about James being one of your key players, but the team itself, you dominated in the first, 5-7 minutes, and almost scored from that set piece. I thought you are going to be continuing dominant. And the whole pendulum swept to the other side.
Yeah, very good analysis of the match. It is what I say to my player during the halftime in the changing room. We start very well. Very dominated, and we conceded one opportunity, and after we mentally we were not enough strong, but you are right for sure. And as a coach you have to be always frank, and we are a little bit lucky today, because Victor saved us 2 or 3 times. Eswatini has a very good, very dynamic forward line, and they disturb us, particularly in the first half. It is why we changed the system at the half time for the second half. We play in the 4-4-2. It was better, more consistent, more aggressive, but it was a very, very tough match today.
Indeed, the game got balanced a bit when in the second half, when you added some impetus up front, because at some point I saw 1 or 2 players stranded up front without any blue shirts supporting. And you made those changes, and they made a difference.
Yeah. We tried to move the things in the halftime. Eswatini play a very good 30 minutes, and during the first half, and for sure we need to bring solution, to bring option, for sure. And the players are young. They are not still ready for the international level. We are, to my opinion, we are particularly in the second half too much light in terms of duels, impact, physical impact. So, but we have to continue. We keep the destiny in our hand. We have a big match on the Saturday against South Africa, but we have to correct something for sure.
Talking about corrections, one moment that I need to share with you. Keselebale came on as a sub, came off also. What was happening there? Did you think he's not doing what I asked him to do?
No, just a matter of the quality of Tawana, the player who will pass him, because he's able to support very fast the 2 striker. He's able to call on the depths. It was very important at this time of the match. But Tsepo, we will give him another chance. We cannot blame anybody today, and they are young. But for sure, we need to make a meeting tonight to explain what we expect from them. It's very important to correct the things.
Coach, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Still find the site? Coach Ntubeni, a game that looked like you lost it. What a save from your keeper from the first, 2-3 minutes? That brought you into the game.
Yeah, Max. Critical moments of the game.
The first and the last.
First and the last, yeah. But my boys played very well. I'm happy looking that we have just assembled the team and they expressed themselves. The whole 90 minutes we were playing aggressive football, which is what we wanted. And we created a number of chances. We should have scored 2 or 3 first half, second half, even the dying minutes, we were there. I'm happy with their fighting spirit. We will build from this behavior that they showed and portrayed in this game and look on going forward.
I was pleasantly surprised that when Botswana came at you, you were not rattled and you settled and they started chasing the game.
Yes, we were not a shaky team. I told you before that these boys are brave. They also surprised me. They want to go forward and they have the energy, which is good about young boys. We just have to maintain the tactical structure and the excitement because they must be tactically disciplined. At the same time, exploiting and punishing opponents with those chances we create.
Would you agree with me that the game was saved by both keepers?
For them, I only count 1 or 2. But for us, there are a lot. That is why I say in critical moments of the game, and when we developed, the game developed, we were there and we were attacking more and more. It's just the decision of young boys on the final third. You'll find them losing the balls cheaply, unnecessary sometimes. But all in all, I'm happy with their performance.
Good luck, coach, as you go on with the tournament.
Thank you so much.